October 9, 2025, Westminster, Maryland. That morning, Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, were arrested after months of investigation into what authorities say was a staged burglary and a series of fraudulent insurance claims. By the time deputies placed them into custody, investigators believed they had pieced together a clear picture of how the couple reported a crime that never happened and attempted to collect hundreds of thousands of dollars for items they still possessed or had already returned. According to court records, the case began more than a year earlier and unfolded step by step as inconsistencies mounted and evidence contradicted the couple's claims. The investigation started in April 2024, when Wendy and Eddie reported that their home in Finksburg, Maryland, had been burglarized while they were on vacation in Jamaica. They told police that someone had broken into their house and stolen high-value personal property, including luxury handbags, jewelry, designer clothing, and other expensive items. The Osefos provided police with a detailed list of the allegedly stolen property. That list later became central to the case. According to prosecutors, the reported losses were valued in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The couple also stated that there was no one home at the time of the burglary, and they suggested the crime occurred during a narrow window while they were out of the country. At first, the report appeared routine. A burglary complaint was filed, and the information was forwarded to insurance carriers so claims could be processed. Following the police report, Wendy and Eddie submitted multiple insurance claims to different insurers. Each claim listed overlapping but slightly different items. Investigators later alleged that some of the same items appeared across more than one claim, which immediately raised red flags once the claims were reviewed side by side. Prosecutors say the couple sought reimbursement for luxury items that included jewelry pieces, watches, handbags, and clothing. In some cases, receipts were submitted. In other cases, valuations were based on estimates. The total amount requested across all claims was substantial. Insurance companies flagged the claims for further review, which triggered a deeper investigation involving local law enforcement and fraud specialists. The first major issue investigators encountered involved security evidence. When police reviewed available security footage from the Osefos' home and surrounding properties, they did not find video showing forced entry, movement, or suspicious activity during the time frame the burglary was supposed to have occurred. Investigators also examined physical evidence inside the house. According to prosecutors, there were no signs of forced entry consistent with a burglary of the scale described. Doors and windows showed no damage, and there was no clear indication that someone had entered the home unlawfully. While the lack of footage or damage did not automatically disprove a burglary, it made investigators cautious and prompted them to scrutinize the insurance claims more closely. The case took a more serious turn when investigators began tracking the allegedly stolen items themselves. According to prosecutors, several items listed as stolen had been returned to retail stores before the reported burglary even occurred. Store records and transaction histories showed refunds or returns tied to those items, directly contradicting the claim that they were taken during the break-in. In another instance cited by authorities, Wendy was publicly photographed wearing a diamond anniversary band that she had claimed was stolen during the burglary. The image was taken after the insurance claim had already been filed. Prosecutors argued that this was clear evidence that at least some of the claimed losses were false. Investigators say these discoveries shifted the case from a questionable burglary to a suspected fraud scheme. As detectives dug deeper, they began examining the Osefos' financial records. Prosecutors alleged that the couple maintained dozens of credit and debit cards, some of which were associated with names other than their own. Court filings state that investigators identified approximately 40 financial accounts linked to variations of names, businesses, or alternate identities. Prosecutors argue these accounts were used to manage spending, returns, and transactions tied to the items listed in the insurance claims. Authorities believe the volume of accounts and the naming variations made it harder to immediately track purchases, returns, and ownership of property. This complexity, prosecutors argue, was not accidental and was part of how the alleged fraud went unnoticed initially. In addition to the insurance claims, prosecutors say Wendy and Eddie made false statements to police during interviews about the burglary. According to charging documents, investigators believe the couple knowingly misrepresented when certain items were purchased, whether they were still in their possession, and whether they had been returned or refunded. Prosecutors allege that these statements were made to support the insurance claims and to maintain the burglary narrative. Each alleged false statement became a separate component of the criminal case. By mid-2025, investigators had compiled enough evidence to present the case to a grand jury in Carroll County, Maryland. On October 9, 2025, the grand jury returned indictments against both Wendy and Eddie Osefo. Wendy was charged with 16 counts, including multiple felony counts of false or misleading information fraud, conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and making false statements to law enforcement. Eddie was charged with 18 counts, including additional felony fraud charges tied to the insurance claims and related financial activity. That same day, sheriff's deputies arrested the couple. Both were processed and later released after posting bond. According to prosecutors, the case did not hinge on a single mistake, but on a pattern of contradictions that could not be reconciled. They point to 5 key factors that exposed the alleged scheme. 1. Security evidence that did not support a burglary. 2. Retail records showing items were returned rather than stolen. 3. Photographic evidence showing claimed stolen items still being worn. 4. Overlapping insurance claims with inconsistent item lists. And 5. Financial records revealing extensive account usage and name variations. Individually, any one of these issues might have been explainable. Together, prosecutors say, they showed intentional deception. Wendy and Eddie Osefo have denied all wrongdoing. Through their attorneys, they argue that the burglary was real, that the investigation was flawed, and that prosecutors are misinterpreting financial records and delivery names. The defense disputes claims about aliases and argues that prosecutors are overreaching by examining years of financial history unrelated to the alleged burglary. They have also challenged the legality of aspects of the arrest and evidence collection. Those arguments are still being litigated in court. As of early 2026, the case remains in pre-trial proceedings. No verdict has been reached, and all charges remain allegations. What prosecutors say they have proven so far is not just that a burglary report was inaccurate, but that it was used as the foundation for a coordinated effort to obtain insurance payouts for items that were never actually stolen. Whether a jury ultimately agrees will be decided at trial. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you spending your time with me. I would really like to know what you think about the Eddie and Wendy Osefo case, so drop your thoughts in the comments. If this breakdown helped you understand what happened, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you do not miss future updates.